what's up, guys, boys and girls, fellow collectors from all around the world? eivoMSeb, the French collector, is back for yet another video, guys. Now, obviously, the video won't be about what I'm showing you right now. I just took out some of my favorite memorabilia, some of these that I haven't seen in a few years, right? Because I keep them stored. Beautiful. But showing you this on this table, you already know this video won't be about, the Fast and the Furious, right? No, this video is going to be about this, baby. Look at this. Oh, man. Now, seeing this right now in front of me with my own eyes, I'm still wondering, am I daydreaming? I just can't believe this. It's a video 10 years in the making. Yes, 10 years in the making, because the first Hot Toys DeLorean time machine was released 10 years ago. Or maybe 9 years ago, can't remember, was it 2015 or 2016? But at least it went up for pre-order in 2015. So yeah, it's been 10 years. It's not like I'm gonna cry, but still, I'm feeling very emotional. No, seriously, I am. And, well, for several reasons. First of all, like I said, 10 years ago, the first one was released, and, well, it just seemed like yesterday. These past 10 years went by so fast, like in the blink of an eye. I still remember when I received it, when I unboxed it. It just feels like it was last week, man. It's crazy. And, well, the other reason is, and I said this again and again and again, and I'm gonna repeat it again, I love these movies with all my heart, Back to the Future are my favorite movies, forever will be. Nothing's ever gonna change that. I've been a movie fan ever since I was a little kid, right? And there are so many movies that I love that I couldn't even tell you. But one thing is for sure, Back to the Future will always be number one. If death showed up at my door today and told me, Seb, time's up, it's time to go, but I can grant you one last wish. Well, no question, I would say, let me rewatch the Back to the Future trilogy one last time. Even though I've watched it 100 times, maybe 200 times, I don't know. I know these movies by heart, but I would say, let me rewatch this trilogy one last time. And if Death told me, well, Seb, we're running out of time, I would say, well, at least let me rewatch the first movie. At least give me this. Oh, man. Well, let's rewind the clock back, I would say 15 years, maybe more. I'm not new to this community, right? My first Hot Toys figure was the Cannibal King Jack Sparrow, and that was, I believe, in 2007, maybe 2006, I can't remember for sure. But can you believe this? Almost 20 years. And that was my first Hot Toys figure. But before that, I had Medicom figures, I collected NECA figures and whatnot. So I'm an old timer. I've been in the game for a very long time. And back in the day already, my wildest dream was, I want to have a Marty McFly and Doc in my collection, right? Will it ever happen? I hope so. I kept praying. It was still possible back in those years to actually post on Hot Toys Facebook page, right? So what I did, maybe it was a bit crazy, but I started harassing Hot Toys every single day, like for weeks, for months, every single day. I literally spammed their Facebook feed, their Facebook wall. Hot Toys, give us Marty. Hot Toys, give us Doc. Hot Toys, make Back to the Future. Give us Back to the Future, god damn it. And seeing this, how I insisted, other collectors started joining me. And after a few months, Hot Toys page was filled with Back to the Future posts and requests and whatnot. And it was only a few years later, back in 2014, I believe, that Marty and the first DeLorean were revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. And that day I will never forget, because with the time difference, obviously I'm in France, I was sleeping, but when I woke up, I remember I had this collector, Kai McFly. Remember this guy? He was awesome. I think he's still around. Kai McFly sent me a text. I was sleeping, and my phone kept vibrating and ringing. I'm like, what the hell? What is this? I woke up, checked my phone. Kai says, what the fuck, Seb? What are you doing? Wake up, wake up. Our dream has come true. Then another collector, Charles Lim, started texting me, and man, I couldn't believe. I started doing backflips. I was so happy. I was over the moon, and still the following years were still stressful, right? For a massive Back to the Future fan like myself, stressful times they were because, well, obviously because Hot Toys giving us Marty and the first time machine, there still was no guarantee that we would receive more in the future. You know, if the sales weren't good or whatever, there was no guarantee we would have this complete collection. And well, what they did was kind of crazy. Okay, so we first got Marty, and then a few months later, the first time machine. And then for a long time, there was nothing. So I'm like, well, man, at least give us Doc. You can't give us Marty without Doc. That's crazy. You know, it's like giving us a Laurel without Hardy or whatever, right? Give us Doc. And then one day, maybe a couple years later, can't remember for sure, they announced Marty from Back to the Future Part 2. I'm like, okay, you're now giving us a Part 2, Marty, and we still haven't received a Doc from the first movie? That's a bit crazy. Okay, well, I guess it is what it is. So Marty came out, and then for a long time, nothing. One day, they announced Doc from Part 2. So I was happy, but I'm like, okay, now we have Marty and Doc from Part 2. Still no Part 1 Doc. Give us Doc, right? Then they announced, I think the Mark II DeLorean came out first. Can't remember now exactly. And then finally, we got Part 1 Doc, right? And then obviously when Part 2 DeLorean was released, I knew it. I said, come on, they can't just give us two cars without giving us the third version. So it was just a matter of time, and well, I was right. The figures came out first, right? Marty and Doc, 1885, Marty and Doc, and then obviously the car, which I just received a few weeks ago. And wow, this is, wow, it's amazing. I'm looking at this right now and I can't believe it. Oh man, look at this. This is so beautiful. So I still have one last wish. We now have 1985 Marty and Doc, right? 2015, 1885, but I have one last wish. I want Marty and Doc from 1955, right? Marty wearing his black leather, his Perfecto jacket, and well, that would be amazing. But now, you know, for all I care, they can release Biff or George and Lorraine, Mr. Strickland, the Clock Tower Lady. I don't care. Whatever Hot Toys makes, you know, Back to the Future, I'll buy. Let's quickly compare those three cars because they each have their unique features, right? Part 1 is my favorite movie. For a long time when I was a kid, it was Part 3, but Part 1 is my favorite movie. The Part 3 Time Machine, though, is my favorite version of the car. This one is absolutely amazing, lights up like a freaking Christmas tree. Let's compare them. Now the Mark II and the Mark III are exactly the same, right? They're both identical. Obviously the only noticeable differences being, well, the wheels, obviously, and then the time circuit control tubes that are on the hood of the Mark III. But other than that, they are absolutely identical. See, the colors are the same, whereas the Mark I back in the day had a different color scheme, right? And collectors back in the day complained that, well, the paint is a bit too dark. It should be a lighter gray, especially the bumper. So, which they changed that, see? So it shows that sometimes Hot Toys, well, listens to us, listens to their collectors, their customers. I gotta say though, even though the color on the Mark II and the Mark III is more accurate, I believe I still prefer the color on the first DeLorean. And there's a reason why, I'll show you in a minute. It's because even though inaccurate, I think the first one has a better brushed stainless steel effect. It looks more like authentic stainless steel. because you know these streaks, these brush marks are more obvious, are more noticeable on the first car. So this is the Mark II, and you can clearly see those little brush marks. It's a beautiful effect. They are there, but to see them, you really have to put your nose on it. Whereas on the Mark I, you can actually see them from a distance already, you know. Can you see this? That's beautiful. So this is why I love the body, the paint of the Mark I better. Look at this. That's beautiful. Now let me take a step back. Let me take a little bit of distance, and you can still see those brush marks. It's beautiful. On the door as well. On the roof. Whereas on the Mark II, like I said, you know, see from here, you cannot see them. It's almost like it's completely smooth. And like I said, you really have to put your nose on the car to see them. So, you know, I'm also quite anal when it comes to movie accuracy and respecting all the details and whatnot, you know, in my collection. But in some rare cases, you know, a slight inaccuracy sometimes is for the better. Now on the Mark I, these braided wires running on both sides of the car are also a bit too dark. So again, they went and changed that on the two other versions. These wires here are much lighter in color, and still, however, not completely accurate, right? On all three versions of the car, these boxes here on the flux bands are dark gray, whereas in the movie they are more like a mix of grayish and bluish color. But you know, these are the kind of details. I'm not gonna lose my sleep over this. At the end of the day, you just gotta accept that you'll never have 200% screen accuracy. One thing that really bothered me and still bothers me to this day is, well, let me get Einstein out of the way for a second. Look at those rims that Hot Toys gave us. This pisses me off because it was really an avoidable mistake, right? Those rims are inaccurate because a real DeLorean rim has a circular groove, right? And what pisses me off even more, for the life of me, I cannot understand how this happened, is that if I take out that hidden rim under the hood that acts as a battery compartment, it's accurate. So how is this possible that they gave us an accurate rim for the battery compartment that no one sees because it's hidden, but the rims that are on all four corners of the car are inaccurate? So I thought this is the Mark I, right? So back in the day I thought, okay, they will change this for the second version if they ever make it. Well, the Mark II came out, and nope, I can't show you right now because the wheels are in flight mode, but the rims are still inaccurate. But the rim hidden under the hood, again, is accurate. So how is this possible? I cannot, please someone explain. I just don't get it. Why couldn't they use the same mold that they used for this to make the other four wheels? Sorry, it's just crazy. Someone explain, please, because this is beyond me. Now in this trilogy, the Mark III has always been my favorite version of the time machine. I think it's fantastic. I love it. It's so beautiful, especially this huge time circuit control chip on the hood, right? This thing is massive, and it's loaded with beautiful details, you know, light bulbs and gauges and wires, you know, it's just beautiful. Actually, I wish this lit up. There's a video on YouTube of a lucky guy who was able to buy one of the screen used DeLorean from Back to the Future Part 3, and he refurbished it and he installed a light up feature in this, and it's absolutely stellar. But not just this, I love the wheels, right? I love when it's, you know, this iconic scene when it's in buggy mode, you know, riding through the desert, covered in this reddish, orangish dust or dirt, whatever, and it's beautiful. So Mark III is my favorite. However, if I'm gonna talk about just the rear end of the car, I'm gonna have to go with the Mark I, and there is a reason for that. Now I know Mr. Fusion is very popular among fans. Mr. Fusion is very iconic, right? I love Mr. Fusion, but my problem is not with Mr. Fusion. My problem is with the area around it. which is just blank. So I think they were a little bit lazy with the details back in the day, right? So compare this thing right here with the rear part of the Mark 1, which is stunning. So I think what they did when they filmed Back to the Future Part 2 is they didn't remove this, right? They just covered it with this huge aluminum plate, whatever, and put Mr. Fusion on top of it. But check that plutonium chamber, it's beautiful. And I wish, again, this lit up. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but there was actually a light up feature in the plutonium chamber on the original Time Machine. But unfortunately, it's never on, you never see it lit up in the movie. But if you don't believe me, check on YouTube the original teaser trailer for Back to the Future Part 1. It was released a few months before the movie came out, and there is one shot in the teaser when the DeLorean drives away where you see this light up. And it's not a steady light, it's more like it's a pulsating yellow light. So it was installed, but it was just never on in the movie. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, this thing, I love this plutonium chamber. I love it. And actually right now, damn, I don't know why I never had this idea before. I want to try something. We're gonna take this. I think only one comes out. I think it's this one, right? Let's try this. How come I never tried this before? Hold on. Fucking hell, my nail. Damn it, my nails are too short. Damn, will I be able to take it out? That's the question. Holy, it fits. It's a perfect fit. But now, will it close? Yeah, no, it won't close. And I fear if I take this out, yeah, only this part comes out. So my God. Well, yeah, this is a nightmare. Oh, it came out beautiful. So I'm never gonna do this ever again, but it's nice to know that it actually fits. It's beautiful. So let's close this. Damn, if I had the balls one day, damn, if I had the balls, I would try to install a pulsating light in there. I don't know how I would do this without breaking it. You know, someday, it's just a matter of time. I know this. Mark my words, Hot Toys will give us a 2.0 version of the Mark 1 with the correct colors, with the right wires, with a dashboard that lights up, because on this one, the dashboard doesn't light up. So when they do this, instead of selling the first version, I'll try to see if I can mod and install a light in there, just like in that teaser trailer. That would be beautiful. This license plate is so iconic. Maybe one of the most, if not the most iconic license plate in movie history, right? Much more iconic than the 2015 license plate, if you ask me. I guess everybody will agree on that, right? And it's funny that it became so iconic because when you think about it, this license plate never travels through time, because when Doc tests the time machine for the first time on that parking lot with Einstein aboard, the license plate detaches from the car and lands on the concrete. So yeah, it just never travels through time, and yet it became so iconic in movie history and pop culture. So this is a sticker, but very, very high quality sticker with letters that actually raise from the license plate. Now the 2015 license plate on the Mark II is also a sticker, right? Now when it comes to the license plate of the Mark III, I made a mistake. In my review, I said, oh my God, I think they used real metal for the license plate this time. I had a closer look and it really fooled me. It is actually a sticker as well, but the quality is so much better. Let me show you the difference. Check the reflection of my phone in the silver parts right here in the middle on the Mark II. And now again, check the same area on here. It looks like a freaking mirror. So really this fooled me. I really thought this was real metal. Turns out it's also a sticker, but the quality is from another world. On the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, the DeLorean is very, very clean, in pristine condition, like right out of the factory. Whereas on the Mark 3, obviously Marty's been hanging around in the desert. They added this very subtle weathering all around the car. It's a bit more obvious here on the bumper also. I wish they'd done more, but like I said in my review, I think they did this. They kept it subtle for those collectors who didn't have the opportunity to buy the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, you know. But it's up to you if you want to weather it more. I know I'm definitely gonna do this when I have some time. But it's still nice that they thought about it, right? It's very subtle, but it's there. It's beautiful. I'm gonna put this back in here before losing it. Now, my Mark II, when I first received it, there was a little light issue. It was a light, actually not lighting, it was malfunctioning. It was the time circuits on the dashboard that had a problem. So I sent it back, got a replacement, but the replacement had this little paint chip. So back in the day, I said, well, you know what, eventually, someday, I will try to repaint it. And since then, well, I thought, you know what, it's still there, and what the hell, you know, look, can you see it from here? No, you can't. I'm not gonna lose my sleep over this. Cars in movies always look in perfect condition because they are filmed from a certain distance, but I can assure you, I have seen many screen used cars, and usually they look like shit and completely beat up. So I don't really care about this. Will I ever repaint it someday? Maybe. If not, hey, whatever. Now what I'm gonna do now is, well, light them up. Now the Mark 1 only works with batteries. The Mark 2 and the Mark 3, you have the choice, you know, they either work with batteries or you can plug, you can use a USB-C cable. For this video, I'm using batteries for all three cars, right? So it's the same for all three cars. You just lift the hood, push that button, and boom, the batteries are hidden under that wheel. On the Mark 1, the thrusters in the back do not light up. On the Mark 2, you gotta push that same button a first time to light up the main lights, you know, headlight, rear lights, dashboard, and then push it a second time, and then the wheels, the undercarriage, everything lights up for flight mode. Same for part 3, push that button once, it lights up the interior, everything. Push that button a second time, the thrusters light up. Look at this, beautiful, absolutely stunning. However, there is one inaccuracy, actually, that bothers me a bit more than what I talked about earlier, and it's the fact that on all three cars, the headlights are on at all times. The headlights being those lights in the center, right in the front. In this trilogy, you never see the headlights on except maybe in a couple scenes, but that's it. Other than that, they're always switched off. So I don't know, I wish Hot Toys gave us an additional button hidden under the front bumper somewhere to switch those headlights on or off, or just leave them off at all times, you know. So what I said in my previous video is that at some time in the future, I will try to disassemble the front of maybe the Mark 1, see how it goes, and disconnect those light bulbs. But again, I'll wait. When Hot Toys gives us finally a 2.0 version of the Mark 1, that's when I'm gonna start trying things, you know. Other than that, it just looks absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna switch off lights in this room to show you how it looks in the dark. It's splendid. This is absolutely stellar. Stellar, guys. So this is my Mark 1, right? Look at these lights on the ceiling up there. It's, man, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna try to put my phone inside the car to give you a closer look at this iconic flux capacitor. Man, incredible, incredible. It is extremely bright, very, very bright. But the sad part is that nothing else lights up. Those plutonium gauges, the time circuits, the speedometer over there, the dashboard, nothing lights up on the Mark 1. And I remember being very disappointed back in the day because the Burton Batmobile came out maybe 2 or 3 years earlier, and on the Burton Batmobile the dashboard actually lights up, right? So I was disappointed. So this is the main reason why I'm saying that it's only a matter of time. We will get a 2.0. You'll see, I know it for sure. On my Mark 1, the lights are much brighter than on my Mark 2 or my Mark 3. Look at this. And then this. And I think it's because of the fact that there are no other lights, you know, on the dashboard or whatever. So more power goes to fewer LEDs. Now remember when I said earlier that sometimes a slight inaccuracy is, you know, for the better? Well, it's the case again for this Mark II, because in the movie, the wheels, when it's in flight mode, light up, but you only see the light from underneath the car, underneath the wheel. The top of the wheel does not light up, but I think it looks so much cooler like this. Anyway, I'm using a glass. Actually, it's not even a glass, it's a candle stand to display the DeLorean in hovering mode, just like on the iconic movie poster. Hot Toys gave us a stand to display it in flight mode, but I hate that stand. First of all, I think it looks ugly, and also I think it's not very safe. That stand is quite flimsy, the car is quite heavy, so I'm a bit afraid of using that stand, but I will right now to show you the undercarriage. So done. As you can see, it's beautiful, it's a badass flying pose. But yeah, like I said, I just don't trust these three plastic pieces, you know. It's great for filming this video, but on the long run, I don't know. I don't want to leave my DeLorean permanently like this. And like I said, I prefer the hovering pose, just like on a poster. Now, anyway, I put Doc and Marty aside. For those of you who wonder, they do fit inside the car, right? No problem. I'm not gonna do it now because I don't feel like changing their poses. But I tried it in the review back in the day. You can go check it. There is no problem whatsoever. Now let me show you the interesting part underneath, right? Now look at this. This is insane. Wow, man, this is so beautiful. I love it. Look at the wheels. The wheels are my favorite part, actually. Now those green lights, here's an interesting story about my personal Mark II DeLorean. Remember when I said earlier that when I first received it, there was a problem in the interior. The lights, the time circuits wouldn't light up. So when I received my replacement back in the day, first thing I did is I checked everything, if everything worked. So the time circuits, which didn't work on the first one, now worked. Good. But then I saw this and I was like, oh my God, there is another problem. I'm gonna have to ask for a third one, because look, the first LED works, the second as well, the third one as well, the fourth one doesn't, and then the fifth one works, and then it starts all over again. And every time that fourth LED won't light up. And then there's something else also. I think the rhythm to be very slow, right? They're supposed to light up in a much faster sequence. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with all? And then I discovered that if I switch the lights off and immediately switch them on again, which is what I'm gonna do right now, boom. And now the lights are much faster, and that fourth LED that wouldn't light up just a minute ago now lights up. So I don't know if I'm the only one. Is my Mark II unique? Do I have two different light up sequences down there? I don't know. But anyway, it works just fine. So we have 4 green LEDs on all 4 corners of the undercarriage, and then 2 white LEDs here. And then again, those wheels, that, man, these are beautiful. I gotta say the Mark II is by far the most impressive 1.6 vehicle I've ever seen. This thing is crazy. And finally, the Mark III. Damn beautiful, my favorite. Again, a slight inaccuracy. Those silver hubcaps in the middle are supposed to be bigger. They're a bit too small. I don't really mind, you know, but there's this guy in the community, Virgo Black, who makes real metal accessories, knives, whatever, guns and real metal. I saw recently that he makes real metal custom hubcaps the right size, so I'll see, maybe I'll contact him, see if he can send me a set. So these are the train wheels, right, that you can actually put on the car, but since Hot Toys didn't give us the rails, I'll make them sooner or later, but till then, they actually look nice, you know, on display like this, just next to the car. It's nice. Look at that dashboard, man, it's beautiful. So I didn't show you on my Mark II, right? But it lights up exactly the same. So you got the time circuit there in the middle, the speedometer that lights up there. Same as the others, the ceiling lights up, right? This part behind the seat, the driver's seat lights up. Although in the movie, those lights move up and down, but that's not a big problem. I know that Blitzway is making a DeLorean that probably will come out next year. They will have those lights moving up and down. I can't wait to see that one. So again, we got these lights behind the passenger seat. The plutonium, whatever, gauges light up. And now there is one major difference between the interior of the Mark III and the two other cars, is that here we have the firebox temperature gauge that Doc adds at the end of the movie when the car is being pushed by a locomotive. And another difference is that on the other side we have additional wires here on the dashboard. You can see them here. And it's still not enough, you know. All three of these cars should be loaded with wires everywhere on the dashboard between both seats. But this is an easy mod, you know. You can just go to any hardware store, buy a few wires and add them. Oh, something I noticed just right now, is it the same on the Mark II? I'd have to check, is that the belt buckle here is black, which is the accurate color, I believe. Yeah, on the Mark I it was gray. What color is it in the Mark II? Oh, it's black. Okay, so they fixed that for the Mark II already. Let me give you a closer look of the rear vents, the thrusters, or reactors, whatever you want to call them. So someone once said on YouTube a while ago, if I remember correctly, I think it was my good friend Nobi, when he got his Mark II back in the day, he said, "This is inaccurate. I'm gonna need to mod my thrusters because the lower squares down there are supposed to light up as well." Well, no, they're not. No, they're not. It's impossible. When they built this back in the day, these squares, this part right there is hollow. So they installed a light bulb in there, but it was impossible to do this down there because the rear lights are just behind them, right? Behind the vents. So how could they? So whenever the thrusters light up in the movie, it's a light bulb, a light they installed in there. And then the rest was added in post-production, or it was CGI. So it is how it should be. It's very accurate. I love it. Now the Mark I, like I said, nothing really lights up. It's a pity, but again, wait for the 2.0. One thing that always pissed me off also on this Mark I is that we did not get the hook that Marty uses, that Doc and Marty use to catch that lightning bolt at the end of the movie. And it's crazy that they didn't give us that hook, because here is the place to insert that hook. So they did, damn, I'm trying to focus. They actually thought about it. They even gave us this part right here, right? See? But we didn't get the hook. I mean, Hot Toys, they're awesome, but sometimes I don't know how they think. It is what it is, you know. I said that soon I'll make a railroad base for my Mark III. I'll also make a hook for my Mark I. Now I spent so much time focusing on these three spectacular time machines that I didn't give enough attention to the figures, and they are insane. So here we have Einstein. Can't remember now, Einstein, did he come with Doc? Or did he come with the 2.0 Marty? Oh yes, because I forgot to say this earlier. We also got a 2.0 in 1985 Marty McFly. And this figure right here is a mix of both the first Marty and the 2.0. But now I can't remember the accessories, the clothing, what comes from which figure. There's just a mix of both. The head sculpt is from the first Marty figure. I didn't like the likeness of the 2.0. Doc here is incredible. So this Doc is spectacular. Is loaded with accessories. All these tools, man, all these tools. That roll of duct tape, 2 watches. You got pens over there. Of course, the remote control for that first scene where he tests the time machine with Einstein. Einstein is okay. He's cute. I wish they gave us an Einstein with real hair, but he's cute. He does the job. He's okay. Like I said earlier, I hope we get 1955 Marty and Doc with this time Copernicus. I added decals and stickers on this figure. Some of them came off already. There were the brands on the skateboard that I added. The Nike swoosh, the Nike logo that I added on the shoes because Hot Toys didn't get the Nike rights, right? So those shoes came plain white. I added the logo. Also added the logo on that camera there, on that camcorder. But look at that head sculpt. This is amazing. I love it. I see Michael J. Fox through and through. Beautiful. But my favorite version of Marty, the likeness is amazing, is the Part 2 Marty. So the Part 2 figures, Hot Toys kind of let us down with Doc because it's basically the same head sculpt than Part 1. But you can get away with it if you display him wearing his glasses, right? But other than that, the clothes are really nice. That transparent tie, double tie. But Marty, that head sculpt is insane. I love it. I love it. You can remove his cap, right? And then I'm gonna have to use both my hands to remove this hairpiece and replace it with this one. Woo! That is quite creepy. So now listen, I don't care what anyone says. Part 3 head sculpt is really good as well. But this right here is freaking killer. This is Marty McFly 200% through and through. But why would you display Marty without the cap? Look, the jacket, the jeans, everything, very spectacular. That hoverboard, which is magnetized, right? Looks like it's flying, amazing. It's actually a magnet. The shoes, I'm gonna need to add the Nike logo on there as well. And then the Part 3 figures, which are my favorite. Again, the likeness of Michael J. Fox here is crazy. Doc, finally a new head sculpt for Doc. But what impresses me most on these figures is, well, the clothing. The Part 3, Marty and Doc, the clothes are freaking insane. This looks like it's almost hard to believe that this is a mass-produced. These are mass-produced figures. Looks like freaking custom 1/6 clothing. That's how good they are. Well, you got their walkie-talkies here. The other walkie-talkie that they use in Part 3, right? That's powered by this big-ass battery and, well, this little tiny DeLorean time machine model that Doc makes in the third movie as well. I love it. Marty's frisbee plate. I love the accessories we got with these figures. The accessories are perfect. Actually, what I want to do now is compare those 1/6 items with their life-size versions next to them. Let's try that. So here's the sports almanac, 1/6 scale with its bag, right? Blast from the past, it says, and you can actually read what's inside. It's crazy. Here we have the 1/6 scale newspaper, USA Today. And here is the real one, which is actually a real newspaper. USA Today actually released this on October 22nd, 2015, the day Marty and Doc arrive in Back to the Future Part 2. So you can compare it. They actually made a perfect replica of the one that was shown in the movie. Cholesterol may be cancer cure. 3 injured when mom rehydrates pizza slices. Ship sunk by whales since 1979. And it is there as well. Guys, this cap means the world to me. Not just because it's yet another Back to the Future collectible, but also because it's a gift, it's a present from none other than world famous comic book artist and collector and YouTuber Marlo Alquiza, also known as Emirate. That was the name of his channel in the past. He now changed it to his real name. He gifted me with so many presents over the years, signed comic books, whatnot, but well, the most precious gift is his friendship. And Marlo, I miss you. And the 1/6 scale hoverboard, which lacks the Mattel logo, again for copyright reasons, but yeah, I can add those logos later on with decals, no problem. And the real one, well, the real one, it does not hover. But yeah, I know when this came out back in 2015, lots of collectors were disappointed because it's not very accurate. It's not the most accurate, right? There are custom hoverboards out there that are better than this one, but this one is still very precious to me, right? Because, well, it's an official Mattel product, right? So, yeah, beautiful. It has sound effects as well, but I removed the batteries, but it's nice. The box it came in, the artwork is beautiful as well. It's up there in the attic, so I can show it to you. But it's a nice piece. And that bottle of Pepsi Perfect, again without the logo, without the brand, but it's still beautiful. I love that effect. Look, that translucent, transparent Coke in there, well, Pepsi. Very nicely done. And the real one there, which I heavily modified. So these were Pepsi bottles released in, I can't remember which South American country, that I got back in the day on eBay, and that I modded with a more accurate sticker. I repainted the cap because it was matte blue. I repainted it in this silver blue color and added that aluminum stripe around it to make it more accurate. But yeah, beautiful. And added real Pepsi. That's not Coke, that's Pepsi in there. I swear it's Pepsi. Well, my friends, I think that's pretty much it. I hope I didn't forget anything, but yeah, overall I said what I wanted to say. And again, I'm very emotional because, man, these movies are everything to me. Everything, you know. My love for these movies goes way beyond my passion for movies, whatever. So many memories shared with loved ones, you know, friends, family, watching these movies together. On sometimes for my birthday or for Christmas, whatever. I mean, you can watch them any day of the year, any time of the year, right? I love these movies with all my heart, and I love these figures and cars with all my heart. I'm so glad I have them. You know, you never know what the future holds in store and what kind of shit life can throw your way. So never say never. You know, there's tons of pieces in my collection that I hope I'll get to keep forever. But if really something happened and I had no choice, I would sell them. But these DeLoreans, my Back to the Future collection is staying with me till my last breath. That's for sure. That's not even negotiable. That's how it's gonna be, right? And I can't wait for the Blitzway time machine. Let's see how this goes. Maybe, like I said, a 2.0 Mark 1 by Hot Toys, and well, who knows, more figures, you know, like I said, a 1955 Marty and Doc, And whatever they'll do, I'll get. Anyway, guys, I'm just rambling now. Thanks for watching. This was eivoMSeb, the French collector. And time to go to bed, man. I'm out of here. See you soon, guys. Bye.